Would you believe me if I told you the same artist who made this
Poof, white Cadillac riding in the tank. I'm a dirty bad baby from dirty bag with a dirty case. Slide down your block, light it up with flames.
also made this?
Lately I've been thinking about all the puss I've had lately, about all the drink I've been drinking.
That Mexican OT is a Texas rapper oozing with creativity and style. He's recently started gaining a lot of recognition after the successful release of his new album, Lonestar Luchador, with a few of the tracks really blowing up. This artist brings something that feels refreshing to the rap industry and the relatively smaller landscape of Latin rap. OT is bridging the gap between Texas's national presence in music from the early days back into today's bustling scene of rap artists. He's from Bay City, Texas, and he's been rapping to himself since such a young age that he couldn't even write them down. A lot of people online have compared his tone to both Kevin Gates and DaBaby. The 24-year-old goes by the rap name That Mexican OT, which stands for That Mexican Out of Texas. Growing up, OT's parents were aware that their son was gifted when it came to rapping. Anytime he failed a class in grade school, he remembers his mom saying, "F that school. My son is going to be a rapper." And in middle school, his father regularly woke him up in the middle of the night to rap battle and embarrass his drunk friends. But OT's childhood had a lot of rough times. When he was only 8 years old, his mother was killed by a drunk driver. At the time, his father was in prison, so OT and his younger half-brother were separated from each other and sent to live with family members. Losing his mother and being separated from his brother drove OT deeper into writing raps.
I just want you to know that I still love you. It's just me, my uncle, my brother. Yeah, we got each other.
It was a therapeutic outlet on one hand, and on the other, it was also a link to his older cousins, who recorded music as a group by the name Kick Dough Click.
Caught in the tick. I throw you out like some trash, sweep them up, get swift. Who you think you fucking with? Kick dough with a rip. I'm a veggie.
But no amount of writing could erase the grief that OT was grappling with after his mother passed. A few years later, his father was released from prison, and OT moved with him to Austin. His father put a roof over his head and made sure he had a place to stay, but according to OT, there was little emotional support or supervision. Hearing all this and how much of a central point rap was in his life, it seems like OT's decision to pursue rap was the obvious career choice. But originally, he wasn't so sure, and he needed one final push. That moment came to him on a cold and rainy night when he was experiencing his rock bottom. OT was riding around in the car as a passenger with his friends. They got pulled over by the cops, and his friends handed him a backpack full of paraphernalia and told him to take off. OT knew that nobody in the car was going to fess up and take the fall for what was in the bag, so he got out and ran. He was running through farms, the woods, and rivers. He spent the cold, rainy night outside on the run, and he continuously peed on himself to keep warm and found relief by putting his bare feet in warm cow manure. The weird thing is, he said the entire time he was running, he just kept rapping to himself. And that's when it all clicked for him. He was really meant to pursue his dreams of rapping. After that fateful night of urine, cow poop, and sleeping out in the cold, OT started recording regularly. In the beginning, he rapped over YouTube beats until producers began reaching out. Between 2020 and 2022, OT released 4 projects. South Texas Project in 2020, Southside Steppin' in 2021, 100 in 2021, and Nonsense and Mexican Shit in 2022. Each of the records improved upon its predecessor, and OT's delivery was becoming sharper and more distinct as production grew more polished. Today, things are looking much better for him than on that cold night in the Texas backwoods. In 2022, OT quietly signed to Interscope Records. And now he spends most of his days recording, playing video games, and being with his family. Recently, he's added performing to his routine as well. This summer, OT had a string of sold-out Texas shows in big cities. He feels natural on stage and says that it's like he's been performing his whole life, because as a kid, he would sit on the bed rapping along with music videos in front of his mom. And all those times that his dad woke him up to rap battle his friends prepared him for live performances. Except now he's actually getting paid to do it. In recent months, OT's taken huge steps in his career after releasing his newest album, Lonestar Luchador, at the end of July. Overall, the album has been a huge hit. The leading single was released earlier in May, titled Johnny Dang, which is a head nod to rap's famous Texas jeweler.
When I walk through the rain in the kitchen, whipping chicken kind of bread like Kane's good dog. Got a Mexican looking like Johnny Dang, eat deep muddy.
The song features Paul Wall, and it continues to rack up millions of plays across streaming platforms. And recently, it's landed on several Billboard charts. OT fires rounds of syllables that would tongue-tie many other rappers. The song shows off some of OT's greatest strengths, but it only reveals one side of his much broader range that's shown throughout the rest of the album. My favorite song from the album is one that's been performing great on SoundCloud, and it's been on a lot of their featured rap playlists. I don't want to be disrespectful, so I'm not even going to try to butcher the name of this song.
En mi barrio, más vatos locos, and we tipping fofos.
The song's incredible, and it dips into some Spanish bars throughout. It really has a lot of flavor to it. Another notable and viral track is Cowboy Killer. This one seems to have a more comical approach to it, but it's refreshing, and it really brings the Texas spirit to life.
So I need 30 piece for the winner. I'm about to make music, get high and eat dinner. Hibernating like bears out in Yellowstone.
Ever since OT signed with Interscope last year, and now has an album out with some viral hits, it's safe to say that things are looking up for him. I believe that he's only getting started, and we'll be seeing that Mexican OT continue to grow in popularity and with his presence in the music industry. His music can be technical, but still fun, and he definitely seems to be passionate and authentic about what he's doing. I wish him all the best, and can't wait to see where he decides to take his career from here. What are your thoughts on that Mexican OT? Let me know what you think. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more hip-hop related content. Don't forget to take your vitamins, say your prayers, and have a great day.